Solving exponential and simple log equations. So as you can see here, we have a log equation and it's equal to x. And here's our steps right here. When b does not equal 10, in other words, if a base is written, remember if it's not written, it's understood to be 10. If a base is written, we're going to write it in exponential form. After we write it in exponential form, we're going to convert to the same base. Once we convert to the same base on both sides of the equal sign, we get to drop the base and just solve the equation. So I am going to write this in exponential form. Remember, the base doesn't change. So if that's a 2, then the base of my exponent's 2. I'm going to hop over to the other side. I know this is 2 to the x, and 2 to the x equals 64. So let's get started on converting this to a base of 2. I know that 64 is 8 times 8. These 8s can certainly keep going. This is a 2 times a 4. That's a 2 times a 4. 2s are starting to pop up now, which is what we want. I'm going to circle these. The 4s can keep going to 2 times 2. All right, so here's what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 to the 6th power equals 64. So I'm going to recopy the left side. I'm going to recopy the right side as 2 to the 6th. So now I'm on this. Convert to the same base. These bases are exactly the same, so I get to drop the base and just solve the equation. So x equals 6. That's pretty much already solved, so that's going to be the answer for number 1. All right, for number 2, it is a logarithmic function. I'm going to convert to exponential form. The base is 9. The exponent is 3 over 2, and that gives us some sort of answer. So since I do not have a number here, I cannot convert to the same base. All I need to do here is perform the exponent. And this exponent is a fraction. Remember, fractional exponents, anything to the x over y, is going to be a root. So remember, the root is the denominator, and the numerator is whatever it is risen to. So I'm going to rewrite this to look like that. So I'm going to draw my square root symbol. And I did say square root on purpose because the denominator of the exponent's 2. We're going to take this 9 and raise it to the 3rd power. So this is going to be 3 squared times 3. Remember, 9 is 3 squared times 3. So I'm going to have 3 to the 6th power. And 3 to the 6th power, remember, if you want to think about this without using a calculator, for every 2 sets, one of them gets to come out. So there's a pair, and there's a pair. So I have 3 pairs, which means 3 to the 3rd is going to come out, which is 27. So if you are using a calculator, this can also be done on a calculator, of course. 9 to the 3rd power, 9 to the 3rd power is 729. And the square root of 729 is 27. So the answer to this is x equals 27. Okay, when the argument is a binomial, these are actually a little bit easier than the first 2 problems we looked at. So what we're going to do is we're going to write in exponential form. So the base is 4. It's going to be 4 to the 3rd power equals 4x minus 16. And since I have 4 to some power instead of 4 to the x, I just have to perform the order of operations. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 1 more 4 is going to be 64. And we're just going to solve this equation. So after we wrote an exponential form, we are going to just solve the equation. Now, I really don't have a calculator in front of me, so I'm going to do some steps to make it a little bit easier, just like I did the previous problem. I'm noticing over here that I could factor out a 4. So 64 equals 4 times x minus 4. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 4 and make my numbers a little smaller. That way I won't have to grab my calculator. 64 divided by 4 is going to be 16. Those cancel out. So I know that x is going to equal 20. All right, for this one right here, notice the base is not written. That just tells you that the base is 10. So this is going to be 10 to the third power, and that is going to equal x minus 7. 10 to the third power, that's scientific notation. 10 to the third power is 1,000. And go ahead and solve for x. Looks like x is 1,007. Please try these on your own. Go ahead and pause it. You know the answers are coming up.